Hey everyone, how you doing? It's your boy Shaheener coming at you with another episode of the Pokémon Babblers podcast. Of course, joined by my co-host Bano over here.
Over there.
Over there.
Over there. I'm right here.
I'm pointing at you over here on my side. It looks good on my side.
I'm pointing at me is what I'm doing, alright?
Season 2, Episode 18. This one is about Pokemon Super Mystery Dungeon for the Nintendo 3DS. It was released for the 3DS in Japan on September 17th, 2015, North America November 20th, 2015, Europe February 19th, 2016, and Australia February 20th, 2016.
Damn.
And so, at least other than like Mystery Dungeon Rescue Team DX, the remake, this is like the last original story, which I know in the last one we talked about, I said that was, but I forgot that Super Mystery Dungeon exists. So, sorry. This one was developed by Pokemon Company and Spike Chunsoft, as per usual. And actually, so this one was released during Gen 6, and so all the Pokemon, up until this point, all 720 Pokemon were introduced in this game. Like, they're all available. So that was pretty cool. And the starters, they have Pikachu, Riolu, and then all the starters up to that point. So
Which one's the one that's not available, Arceus? Because it's 721.
I think maybe Volcania wasn't introduced yet.
Oh, okay, that's what I
Yeah, that's my guess. Is usually like, up until like whatever mythical Pokemon wasn't introduced.
All right, because what do you call it? Humble brag alert.
Yeah, it was 721.
It was 721 because I completed the Pokedex. So.
Yeah, me too. Anyway, so there's a speed stat that's introduced in this game, so that affects like accuracy. It also affects or move accuracy, I should say. Also with Gyro Ball and Electro Ball's damage, which is kind of similar to Pokemon Conquest in a way. And so the expositions are now preset in this one, or just basically going over stuff that's different or new features in this one before we get into the plot. So gigantic Pokemon are now playable, so like giant Pokemon like Lugia, Groudon, Onix, Kyogre, stuff like that. Those are playable, but they actually take up 9 spaces instead of like the regular like 1 or 3 or however many.
I forget, what are expeditions?
Okay, expeditions appear in Super Mystery Dungeon, and they're similar to jobs from the previous games. So by completing these expeditions, the player connects with the client of the mission via the connection orb, which is kind of like the bulletin board for this game. Other Pokemon involved may also be connected to, and when an expedition is completed, a gift may be received as a reward and can be collected at Cafe Connection. So those could be like rescue, finders keepers, secret bases, battles, delivery, and locked door.
Okay, so there's like quite literally jobs with just like a few different
it's
like
literally
conditions.
just jobs with a different name.
Okay.
Yeah,
but so, now they're preset rather than being like procedurally generated, which is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because like it was always like go find somebody on the whatever floor, like it was just like a random floor, or go defeat this Pokemon on this floor. So I'm wondering why they made them preset rather than just random.
Probably just to make it easier for them, so that way they don't have too much like code in there. I'm guessing there's like, okay, this is just like, think of like event matches in Smash Bros. Melee, whereas like you just have these set like principle or guidelines, and you gotta play through those rules, I guess.
Okay.
Yeah, and so alliances are team attacks that warp any other team members to surround a Pokemon and do one big attack. Those are introduced in this game. These attacks ignore type matchups, but they also deplete your belly or your hunger meter. And so, unlike in previous games, Pokemon don't join the team by being defeated in a dungeon, but rather they're connected by completing mission requests displayed in the connection orb.
Okay, I think I made a mistake on the last video, and this is the one that had the Salamence available like at the beginning, because this is all starting to sound familiar.
Yes. I think I remember when I was reading through the plot that Salamence was introduced in this one.
Yeah, so I think this is the one where I was like, all right, they've lost me on this one. You can't even request in dungeon or make friends in dungeons anymore.
No, though they changed it. And this is the one I feel like that nobody talks about. I mean, reviews for it were, like, fine. Like, they weren't, like, awful or anything. But I feel like that this one was polarizing when it came out. And so, Looplets and Emura items are introduced, which are temporary stat boosts. And so the Emura get, injected into the Looplets, I guess. And so any Emuras that are used in a dungeon go away when leaving. And then Mega Evolutions are introduced, and just as quickly they get taken away from us because... Pokemon Company hates us. They don't want us to succeed with Mega Evolutions.
Well, they weren't taken away yet. We still got like if it's 2015.
Oh, yeah.
We got like 4
Oh, yeah,
more
we
years
still
until
had
they
we
were
had
like
Gen
completely.
we had Gen 7 still with Mega Evolutions, but yeah. And so in Chapter 12 of this game, there are Pokemon that are introduced called Motivated Pokemon, and those of which earn triple experience during normal missions, and on certain days, a new group of 3 will become motivated. So it's like whenever you like wake up and you start the next day, then there are more Pokemon that are like, hey, these ones are motivated now. You can get better experience with them. So I guess it kind of incentivizes using different Pokemon to like get better experience.
Really think they should have just done like an experience share all, or like as if they were gonna just if 3 was the limit, just make it like an item
Right.
and just assign or like you can only assign 3 Pokemon to be motivated or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Something like that, where it's like
they
you
could
assign
balance
like
it
certain
out.
Pokemon whenever instead of just like random 3.
They could balance it out, like you can't be motivated more than once a day. So like you could have
Yeah.
these ones be motivated, and then the next day, they'd have to rest, and you have to pick a different 3.
Yeah, you just pick 3 at the beginning of the day. Like, which Pokemon do you want to be motivated? But I feel like that would kind of be tedious if you're trying to use the same team. Where like if you're doing that,
Sounds
like,
tedious if you just wake up and the 3 you want to be motivated aren't.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, no, that'd be annoying because then you have to just like reset every single day. Yeah, that would just be annoying too. But I mean, I don't know. It just sounds like a weird feature to add in. Yeah, just like allow it like maybe like in the middle as like you get an item where it's like, oh, you get a temporary like experience boost for like 5 minutes, like an O power almost. Like that would be cool. But yeah, so there's a thing called the progress device which allows you to save inside the dungeons on any floor. And so that's pretty nifty.
I think that's kind of where like old Mystery Dungeon fans are like, okay, I'm done with this, because it's like that was like the whole difficulty factor of like trying to play the game and making sure you had the right items and the right team to make it all the way
Right.
to the end, rather than just like saves coming your way through.
Yeah, that's true.
But
That's true.
I mean, it also is like there are some where it's like not worth your time, like the level 99 dungeons
Yeah.
or the 99 floor dungeons where you get to restart. You like your level.
Right.
It was always a nice option. I think they should have had that like as like a easy in a original mode, or like a new mode, or like an like old feature mode where like you recruit in dungeons, you don't get to save wherever you want and whatnot. Like there's like a casual playthrough and like a regular one,
True.
and the casual one could have like saving in dungeons and whatnot.
Yeah. And then also, helper Pokemon can be sent via Street Pass, so that way, like, they get sent over, you could be like, hey, here's this help, I guess. I don't know.
Street Pass.
Street Pass was great if you were going to, like, a place where there's more people, like if you're going to school, or if you're on, like, a public transit, at least at that time, because, I mean, I was going to community college at that point. I think you were at that point, too, roughly, right? Yeah, and so, going over there was, like, there was so many Street Passes. I get, like, 20 of them a day. I mean, depending on how long I'm there, it's usually like 20 to 30, maybe at most a day, depending. But I went through those. I completed all my puzzles, like every single time they had a puzzle introduced. I got those like all fixed up. Street Pass Plaza, I had that on lock. But man, I miss that. That was just fun to be like, okay, I have an off period. Let me check to see what Street Passes I got and see what extra items I got and stuff like that. It was always.
I mean,
cool.
we have Ycom and whatnot, but I just
Yeah.
don't think there's like it's not the same with the Switch.
No.
I really feel like if you're paying, especially if you're paying for Nintendo Online, they should implement some form of Street Pass Online or something like that. Like,
Well, I
you
mean,
wake
but that's
up,
local communication, though. So I feel like that there should be like a. I wish that there was a Street Pass for Switch.
I doubt it. I doubt they
Yeah.
do it for local, because like how often are you? What games are you getting together for like multi-Switch games?
Yeah, or even just like downloading some extra like content from like other systems where he's like, oh, you get this character in your game, you get like in this game like Helper Pokemon or like in Street Pass Plaza where you have like the puzzles and stuff. Like those things were just cool. Like it was just cool little passive things to do every now and then. Especially with the Switch being a portable system. That is like it would just make sense to have something to interact with the people around you if you're gonna go the Nintendo way about things.
All right,
But
'cause I
also
feel
the
like,
Nintendo way is to get rid of things that you get attached to. So
right, I feel like it honestly bring more life to the Switch, because it's something you could do outside of having to pay for a game.
right.
Like it's just a system feature and stuff like that. And then I'm also thinking for like the online thing without actually having to pass anybody. When you do ORAS and you connect to the internet, you get like a bunch of information from people like passerbys, and that has an effect in game, and it changes like it adds like secret bases of theirs that if they have it, and then it also like changes up your islands and stuff like that. I feel like that would work for the Switch, especially if you're paying for it. If you're paying for the online functionality.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, hopefully Switch 2 has something like that, but I doubt it.
Fingers crossed, but yeah, it's pretty doubtable at this point. It's just kind of a niche thing. But yeah,
a niche thing? What's that? Niche?
Not Nietzsche. Niche.
Oh, okay.
Niche.
My bad.
Niche. And yeah, so the only random factoid I have about this one is that this is the first mystery dungeon game where, spoilers, the main character does not disappear after the main story.
Damn. No tear jerking ending?
No, there is. It's just not with the character that's the main character.
Damn, I was gonna say after 4 games they were just like, oh, you're gonna die or you're gonna disappear and leave all your friends behind. Not anymore.
Listen, Linda, not the player.
We're changing up the story.
Yeah, slightly. But actually the story, when I was reading through it, is actually kind of interesting. At least a little bit. Okay, so, ready for the plot?
Yeah, hit me with it.
Okay. So, the player is, big surprise, a human-turned Pokemon. And so, they are attacked by a group of Behem, but then Nuzleaf helps them out, and it takes them to the Serene Village. They then meet their team partner, who wants to join the Expedition Society, but has become the town weirdo due to his persistent nature. The partner gives a player one of his Harmony Scarves, and Behem are spotted outside of the village, forcing the duo to split to the Expedition Society headquarters. When they get there, Ampharos inducts them into society, and they learn that there are Pokemon that have been turned to stone by a malicious entity, including Entei, which is one of the legendary beasts. It's like one of the protectors, basically.
So it went back to being a statue. Yeah, it went back to being a statue, and this is the prelude to what do you call it? Gold and Silver, because now it's a statue, and the other ones are going to be turned to a statue, and then they build the tower, and the tower burns down.
I was thinking of Pokemon Movie 3 with the freaking Entei in there, and like all the unknowns and stuff, and like everything gets, I don't know.
Wasn't it? Is it Pokemon Movie 3, Power of Unknown?
Yeah,
isn't that like the title?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something like that. Yeah. That was a fine movie. It was fine.
It was not fine. I was like, I just watched Pokemon 2000. What the fuck is this?
2000 is S tier. Like, that's the best Pokemon movie that they ever put out. But yeah, so they get there, Ampharos inducts them, and then they learn that they've been turned in stone.
I like your notes here. Inducts them into society.
Into the society.
Into the society.
Society.
What are they, animals?
Society. Wasn't there like one of the games where there was a group called Society? Like TBA?
I don't remember.
Yeah.
It might have been.
I'm pretty sure. But yeah, they also found out that Crocodile is a perpetrator, and the partner, the player, and Nuzleaf follow Crocodile to Revelation Mountain, and at the top they discover a sealed spring that can revive these Pokemon that have been turned to stone.
Are they going to get the 10 Commandments on Revelation Mountain too?
Right. They then find out that Nuzleaf actually paid Crocodile to go to Revelation Mountain, and that Nuzleaf is actually the true culprit.
Rat.
So Nuzleaf and its master, basically Yveltal, petrify the party, and also Suicune and Raikou, who showed up to save Entei.
What I say? Now they're gonna build the tower on Revelation Mountain, and that's the start of Ecruteak City.
I mean, that's just a theory. I don't think I'm legally allowed to say that.
All right.
Yeah, cut that out. But yeah, so player awakens in the Voidlands and is reunited with most of the society. They find out that the planet's life source, the Tree of Life, was once nearly pulled into the sun by dark matter. They are then attacked by manifestations of the Void's darkness, and the legendary beasts save the duo, but the others in the society are incapacitated. The duo then escape the Voidlands, but the allies had to sacrifice themselves for that to happen. So all of the society is bye-bye. Right now, at least. So one of the escaped Behem tell the duo that dark matter can possess Pokemon. He then leads them to the alleged Tree of Life, but they then realize that Nuzleaf, who was anticipating this betrayal, gave them the wrong location. Psych! That's the wrong tree!
That's the wrong tree.
Yeah. So Nuzleaf reveals that Behem was responsible for the player's initial amnesia, and then Ampharos and Celebi then rescue the duo and take them to the actual Tree of Life. So it's a lot of betrayal, a lot of twists and turns.
A lot of double cross.
A lot of double crossing. Nuzleaf is a rat. Reminds me of some people I know. Some maybe on this podcast. But So Celebi.
Can you like fade in the art for like Nuzleaf on top of my face? Just like faded in very slowly.
Yeah, just very slowly. So Celebi explains that the player might have been summoned. Oh, what the fuck?
Summed.
What was I writing last night? Might have been. What is that word? Hold on, I'm gonna.
Summoned.
Yeah, probably summoned once before by Mew and their Harmony Scarves to protect the wearers from petrification when near the Tree of Life. God, my notes are bad. Nearing the end of the forest, they find the Tree of Life near its death. Ironic. They're then confronted by Yveltal, Nuzleaf, and the other Behem, who've all been corrupted by dark matter. The player then becomes concerned that they might be forced to leave the Pokemon world, but the partner is the reincarnation of Mew and has to leave instead. So it's the partner that goes, not the player.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so sometime later, the player returns to society, but has lost motivation since their partner left. Ampharos advises the player to seek out Xatu on the possibility of bringing back their partner, and upon meeting Xatu, they tell the player that Mew lives in a forest, but the Mew there is nothing like their partner. Initially returning home alone, the player discovers Mew following them, and Ampharos brings them to help the player with work. The two bond, which helps the player's grief, but then Mew is immediately kidnapped by an unknown party. Could you guess who it is? The kidnappers are, surprisingly, Nuzleaf and the Behem, having learned of Dark Matter's presence in Mew and intend to destroy Mew before Dark Matter could reincarnate. The player then demands Mew stays, as they can't bear another loss. The player's Harmony Scarf glows and revives a partner, and then Ampharos and Xatu arrive and explain that the partner was inside Mew, and kidnapping was just a ruse to bring the partner back.
Okay.
And that's basically the plot.
I feel like there's some key things missing here, like what happened with the Tree of Life and.
I was just going based off of the Wikipedia one, because, like, literally, like I've said in a few other ones, the plot that they write in frickin' in Bulbapedia is so freaking long, and we'd be here forever talking about it. Okay, so dark matter intensifies in power, killing the Tree of Life and retrieving the player and the partner to their original forms. Dark matter sends out waves of darkness, petrifying all the Pokemon holding the tree in place, and taunts the player for having nothing left to fight for. However, the player and the partner realize that they still have hope to keep on living and begin striking Dark Matter's regenerative barrier, soon joined by Yveltal, Nuzleaf, and Behem, who seek to atone for their misdeeds. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that was missing in the Wikipedia one. What the hell? Yeah, let's see. The voice of all the petrified Pokemon flow towards the player, urging them not to give up, and eventually Dark Matter's protective shield breaks. Together with a partner, the player attacks Dark Matter's core and finally defeats Dark Matter. Before the player can destroy Dark Matter threatens to resurface again in the distant future, since all Pokemon have their darkness in their hearts, and it can never be completely destroyed.
Okay, so it sounds like there's not a Pokemon villain, but it's the Dark Matter.
It's like an entity. It's almost like the previous one, too, where I feel like we were talking about, like the frigid cold or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was something of that sort. I forget what the exact name of it was. But, yeah, basically that just embodied a lot of evil in it, and it's just like, yeah, it'll happen again, so this is just a temporary victory. They're brought back to the Primeval Forest, they discover the Tree of Life has been returned as well, and in its fully flourished state, Xerneas appears from the tree as its embodiment, and explaining dark matter is now completely gone upon finding peace. And, let's see, the player realizes that if they saved the world in the past, they probably had to return to the human world at some point. Finding that they wish to stay with the Pokemon world of their partner, the player resolves to find a way to allow them to stay. And so when they tell the partner the plans, then that's revealed that the partner is actually Mew, who fought the dark matter with the player in the distant past. However, they actually failed in their attempt, so they devised a plan to prepare future generations in the event that dark matter ever returned, including the luminous water sealed atop Revelation Mountain. Mew had wiped both their memories to prevent them from making the same mistakes that led to their failure in the past. And now that Mew's fulfilled its role, the partner has to leave the player forever.
Okay, so is your partner Mew, or is it like a Mudkip? It turns into Mew.
Yeah, I think it's just whatever, and then it's like, oh yeah, I'm actually Mew.
Nice.
Yeah, so... Yeah, there's a lot omitted in the Wikipedia plot.
And I'm assuming that Nuzleaf and the Behem and Yveltal are all, like, innocent and are just been corrupted by dark matter or controlled by dark matter.
Yeah, it seems like it, that they're just like being shitheads for the sake of
Because
being
like
shitheads.
the end thing there, I'm like, oh, so like Nuzleaf and Behem didn't get like annihilated at the end,
No, they atoned for their sins, and so they're gonna be going to heaven.
right? They bathed in the waters of Lake Minnetonka atop of Revelation Mountain.
Exactly. Yeah, they purify themselves in the waters of Lake Minnetonka, and they're gonna be all good.
Right. So I think this is the most convoluted plot that I've heard so far.
Oh yeah, it's like why'd they leave it for the last one to be so convoluted?
Right.
Yeah, because like compared to the other ones, this is way more like. I mean I wouldn't say conceptual, but it's definitely the most ambitious for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially all 100 or 720 Pokemon in the game
Yeah.
and of being available
Mm-hmm.
is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I think some of the things they added are cool, but also like take away a lot. Like the whole point of like recruiting Pokemon in a dungeon, it didn't really feel like you were ever recruiting people so much as you were just like catching them basically and forcing them to be on your team.
Mm-hmm.
So that is like a huge misstep for me. I feel like that's probably why I never played this game or even gave it the time of day.
Yeah.
Is because it did that. Because it's like if they're all available using the orb and I don't have to like mess with the orb, is evolution even a mechanic in this game?
I'm pretty sure it still is. It never said that it wasn't included in the game, so yeah, I feel
Right,
like that I
because
would have read about that like if it was omitted at all, because I didn't get a chance to play this. I haven't really played too much Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah, let me look it up. I want to see if it's actually.
I doubt it. I doubt that evolution was taken out.
To evolve, you simply have to take a ride on Lapras over to the life tree, and speak to Xerneas. Xerneas will offer to let your Pokemon evolve, though it will ask you twice to make sure you want the evolution. Once it's agreed, the Pokemon goes into the forest and comes back evolved. What happens in the forest?
Yeah, like what do you do in there? Like how does that happen?
It also said something about temporary evolution through the story. I don't know how that works.
Temporary, like a what?
Yeah.
Temporary evolution sounds silly. Like I could get a temporary stat boost, but a temporary evolution?
Right. And I'm looking at the evolution list here on Cerebi if you want to... unevolvable Pokemon. So there are Pokemon
That can't evolve?
that can't evolve, which means you have to recruit... If they're all available, you have to recruit... The first one here is
Certain
Caterpie,
ones.
which means you have to recruit a Metapod.
That's stupid. That's really
Yeah. You can't do Togepi either. You can't do Fampi, Poochyena, Zigzagoon. There's a lot. Like, if you want to pull it up and just like scroll through it, there's a lot of Pokemon here.
Yeah.
You can't do Gabite. That's awful because people like Garchomp.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. It's
You
like
can't evolve an LGM. I'm assuming this because Behem becomes
but
available
he is part of
afterwards.
the plot.
You can't do Goomy. You can't recruit or evolve a Goomy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but are unable to evolve within this game. Yeah, it doesn't offer any other explanation. It just says the following list of Pokemon that can evolve in Pokemon lore but are unavailable to evolve after this game. And then it just has like location lists for every single one of them, but it's like, why would I want a Spoink?
Complete
Or
the
why would
Pokedex.
why would I want a Stunky
Yeah. Complete the Pokedex though.
if I can't just do a Stunfisk or a Goomy?
Yeah, that would be something. Has anybody done that before? Like catch every single Pokemon in Super Mystery? I'm sure it's been done, but like has been like showcased in a video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Something the Pokemon image name change. Okay, hang on. Before, I'm like trying to look at the connection orb and like what they're doing here. Okay, so if they evolve, their picture on the connection orb just changes. It's like, so it's where it is. But if it was like the picture they're showing is Feebas and Magikarp. But once they evolve, the pictures become Milotic and Gyarados.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so
there
it
are
looks like
also
there's one
constraints.
video. Somebody showcased catching all the Pokemon in Super Mystery Dungeon. That was by Chaotic Meatball. They did that video 2 years ago. It was like a 46-minute video. That's interesting. I might have to give that one a watch.
It's so weird. Like I would have not put that on there.
Mm-hmm.
The connection orb seems very messy because, like, just looking at like the sample picture, there's so many Pokemon on this thing, and so many connection dots. It's just, I don't know. It seems too much.
Yeah, that seems like it's just like they simplified a lot of the gameplay, but then they complicated the actual plot.
It's like artificial. What is it? Artificial difficulty.
Yeah, it's like everything is just kind of like preset. Like everything is just kind of like ready for you to like just play it in their way. It's like you can't really have much free will on there, and even then, it's like restricted free will.
Oh, I didn't check because, like I said, the first you can get Salamence like on the first one, or Bagon and Shelgon even available. And if so, what's the point? Because you can just get Salamence. Doesn't look like they're not on the can't evolve list.
Okay.
So I don't know.
I still want to know what happens when they evolve. Like what happens at the Tree of Life?
What happens at the Tree of Life?
Yeah. But this is one where like people are like very like kind of split on this one, it seems like. But yeah, and I think at this point like people are just like way too exhausted of the Mystery Dungeon series, so that's why it took like a long break. And then they just did the remake of Red and Blue Rescue Team, and we haven't heard from Mystery Dungeon since that. But this is the last like original story for Mystery Dungeon we've been given so far. I honestly don't really think maybe they'll do like one more Mystery Dungeon, but I kind of doubt it. I think it's kind of like it's run its course. Right. I feel like if they do a new one, then people aren't really going to care as much.
Right. Who knows? Pokemon Day is now 10 days away, so we might get a Mystery Dungeon.
Yeah. So, who knows what's going to happen on the next games. We still don't know, at least at the time of recording. So, maybe by the time the next episode drops, we'll be like, oh my god, did you see the thing? And
be on the lookout for the thumbnail where we're just like...
Yeah, exactly. But, I'm excited for the next Pokemon Day. I mean, I feel like that as it gets closer, I get more and more excited for it. Because at first I'm like, whatever, it's just another game. But now I'm like, oh yeah, let's get something new over here. Right. Or let's see what they have to offer. I think that's pretty much it for Super Mystery Dungeon. We don't really have much to say. You
have to. I think at this point you have to really love Mystery Dungeon in order to play this game, because otherwise I feel like it's just like a pass.
Yeah, exactly. It seemed like the Mystery Dungeon game to play. I mean, since we've talked about all of them now, it's Explorers of Sky. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. So thank you guys for listening. I know it's another short episode, but I mean, like, we're not going to bore you with an hour and a half of nothing. So. Yeah, if you like what you heard, let us know in the comments. If we should pad it out to an hour and a half for the next episode, let us know. But until then, we'll see you later. Peace.
Bye, guys.